What up, what up, what up, Wholesale to Million family? Happy Saturday. I'm not exactly sure when I will upload this, probably on a weekday or something like that. But we're back with another subscriber first wholesale deal interview. If you are new to the channel, boom, smash that subscribe button. Join the family for the 2019, and let's take your life, your business to a whole nother level. And you guys, if you recently closed your first wholesale deal, please shoot me an email. Love to get you onto the channel so you can share your stories, how you got the first deal done. The whole reason why we're doing this and, our guests putting out their time doing it is just to help inspire and motivate and let you guys know that, you know what, there are people out there that are just like you, just got their first wholesale deal done, and they can do it. You can do it too. Just keep at it, stick to it. So I got here Curtis on the line. He just closed his first wholesale deal back in December 20th for $3,400, based out of Baltimore, Maryland. You guys, put your thumbs together, put your hands together, show our guest some love, smash that thumbs up. Curtis, what up, buddy?
What up? What up? What up, man? It feels so surreal to be here. Cause I watch you every week, and it's just crazy that I'm here now. It's crazy.
Dude, Curtis, I want to say, man, thank you so much for taking your time to come on and actually do this, dude, and giving back, bro. Really appreciate it, man.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I feel like I got insight that I can share that it give, people that last little bit of motivation that I needed. And I can share the tips and the strategies that I took from you to get this deal closed.
Awesome, man. So let's let rock and roll. So I want you, Curtis, to share with everybody kind of I wanted you to share your story first, your background, kind of what you did, blah, blah, blah. And then how did you got into real estate, bro? Like give us the raw detail story of your background.
Okay. Well, I learned about wholesaling because here in Baltimore, it's a pretty big guy in wholesaling named Mark Witten, and he was offering courses, so I went ahead and took his courses, and I completed the courses probably about June, so I've been live for about 6 months. It took me 6 months to get to my first deal, but it's been a lot of bumps, it's been a lot of hiccups. I've had sellers rip up contracts in my face. I've messed up a lot to get to this point, so it is good to get to this point. This feels so surreal to look at you in your room in your office, man. I just can't explain how this feels.
So Curtis, so dude, so what were you doing before when you got into the whole wholesaling game?
Well, I own a trucking company, so I'm still working successfully in the company, but being on the road all day, I mean, the trucking company is a trucking company. I mean, real estate always intrigued me, and I never knew how to get in until I learned about wholesaling.
Gotcha. Okay, so you were kind of tired or upset with the whole, I mean, not upset, but you were kind of tired with the whole doing the truck.
I mean, it's just on the road. It's just got too predictable. It's just, I just was looking for more. I was looking for more.
Sure, man.
I was looking for more. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was looking for more.
Hey, Curtis. So you said that you own a trucking company. So are you like self-employed or do you have employees?
Yeah. No. I do have a couple of employees, but I am self-employed. Yeah.
And how long did you do that for?
I've been doing that for about 10 years.
Dang, bro, 10 years. And tell me your hours, bro. I always want to know people's the truck driving.
Man, I start probably 6 in the morning, and sometimes I go to 6 at night.
Dang, bro.
Saturdays and some Sundays for special occasions, but special circumstances. But it just starting to be is what it is, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, man.
But the real estate thing, it just sheds a new light. It just gives you like a new frontier, a new outlook on things. And a lot of people get this mistaken when they get into wholesaling. They look at it like, man, it's a lot of people already doing it. It's a lot of people in the business. I'm not gonna never find a house. But it's a lot of homes out here that's unaccounted for, and people don't realize it. You don't realize it until you actually get in the game and start doing it.
Right, man. So, Curtis, I want to know a little bit more. Is dude like so you were doing, dude? So your trucking business started from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You did that for 10 years,
Yeah. Well, I'm
and
still doing it now. I'm still doing it
gotcha.
now.
Okay, gotcha. So right now, wholesaling is kind of your part time thing.
Our wholesaling is part time. Wholesaling is part time. So since I'm self-employed, I can take calls all day. So that's the benefit. When sellers call, I can answer the phone. You know, like I can mute everything and say, "Hello, how may I help you?
Right.
Thank you for calling. You know, thank you for calling such and such." So I was able to interact. My appointment, most of my appointments when I went to see homes, I scheduled them for the weekend.
Dang, bro.
Yeah,
Dang,
scheduled
man.
them for the weekend. And at night, I guess we'll get into that, like how I marketed and everything.
Sure.
At night, I was preparing my postcards and everything at night, and I would drop them off at the mailbox every morning.
Gotcha. So, so Curtis, I know that you've been doing it for 10 years. So, what point? And I know that you mentioned you got into back in June. So, at what point or what trigger you to say, you know what, this is enough? And real estate was the one. Did you? Was it a radio? Was it a YouTube channel?
Uh,
Video? What?
it was. I went to a seminar about 3 years ago, right? And the seminar spoke about wholesaling and how they didn't really call it wholesaling, but how they need investors in my area. And they told like the sketch background of everything, how everything was going to be done, but it kind of wasn't catered the way that I wanted to be catered. They basically was going to teach you how to be a wholesaler for their company. They didn't teach you. They wasn't going to teach you how to become a wholesaler on your own. They kind of wanted you to become a wholesale as an employee, and they wanted about $6,000 for the course, which I didn't have at the time. And I always search for other avenues, and then I bumped into like I said, the local guy in my area that was doing it, that offered courses, and I seized the opportunity.
Gotcha, man. So 3 years ago, that's when you went to seminars, but you didn't start until June of 2018.
Yeah, I didn't start. Yeah, I didn't actually. Well, I started taking the courses in March of 2018, and I completed them in June, and that's when I went live. That's when I started.
Sure. So March of 2018, and then you started. Okay, in June is when you actually started it.
Yes, yes.
Gotcha, man. Okay. And do you mind sharing with everybody how much did you pay for the program or the course? I mean, if you don't want to share, it's fine. Just thought I ask.
The course was around. Oh damn, how much was the course? I think the course was around $250. But then it was also we signed up for a live call where we had to pay a additional, I think it was $20 a month to get on a live call every month, and then that was it. And
Cool,
with the
man.
course, they provided you with the contracts you needed, and that was it. That was it.
Gotcha, man. So basically, so does the course show you step by step?
It kind of tells you the ins and outs. It tells you what you're going to need, what you're going to run into. Uh, Basically, it kind of teaches you the equation of a seller, and you need to link the buyer to the seller, and you're assigning. So
Gotcha.
it you know, kind of tells you the ins and outs. But being out really in the game really teaches you more than that course would ever teach me. So
Gotcha.
I've learned more from being. I mean, the course got me started, and it got me on the right path. But being out here in the game really taught me a lot. And I
Gotcha.
mean, I don't know if we can go over some of the mistakes I made. I mean, I've closed the deal, but I've had about four homes under contract before I closed this deal, and they didn't work
Gotcha.
out.
Awesome, man. So Curtis, let's jump right into your first deal, bro. So walk us through your first deal. How you got the leads, how do you handle the seller, etc.
Okay, all right. So my first deal, I got the lead. I purchased a list from listsource.com. So I think I paid about $75, and I got about 500 homes list from ListSource, and it was an absentee owner list with and I put in 30% equity. I pulled the list back in September, I want to say. So once I pulled the list, is absentee owners, of course. So I make my own postcards. So I print out and write up my own postcards. So I mailed out to this list every other week for about 2 months, and I finally got a call from a seller. And it was funny because when I got the call from the seller was just being curious to see what I can offer. They really wasn't interested, but I engaged the seller like I learned from you. So I set up an appointment, and I hired a contractor. I hired a contractor, one of those contractors to give like free estimates or whatever. And I took the contractor down to view the home with me, and I gave the contractor like $50 for going on an overview with the home with me. And I checked out my, I told the seller that I would get back to him. I didn't have a number for him that day, so I checked out the comps in the area. And I created my, I came up with my ARV. I got back on the phone. I seen the house on a Saturday. I got back on the phone with the seller on a Monday, and I asked the seller how much he was looking for, because I learned that from you as well. So once the seller gave me his number, I got off the phone with him, and I called him back the next day after I talked to my contractor. And once the contractor told me what needed to be done in there, and just judging by the ARV, I called him back with an offer. He got off the phone with me. He called me back about Thursday with a counter offer. And so I told him I didn't accept his counter offer. I told him that, if you're seriously interested, we would have to come take a closer look. So I took the contractor back down there again to get real hard numbers, and I came back with a counter offer on top of his offer, and he accepted. So just to tell you a little bit about the property, it's like a townhome in Baltimore City, and it's a duplex, and it actually has 2 tenants in it at the moment.
Gotcha. Okay. So, so it was a townhome. It was a duplex, and how many bedroom and bathroom per side?
It was a two bedroom in the first apartment, and then 2 bedroom in the upper apartment.
Okay, so it's
2 baths. So it was a 2-1. Each apartment was a 2-1.
2-1. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So each one, and do you know roughly the square footage?
The square footage of the total home, the square footage was around I think like 1560.
1560
small.
each?
1,000. No, 1560 for the whole home.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's see here. Hold on a second. So let's just say 1,500 divided by 2. I want to get this so I can give you guys some repair costs based on this square footage. So 750 square feet per side. Okay, cool. Now, so the seller came from your list from absentee owner?
Yeah, from listsource.com. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So now, I know you pulled the list in September. How long did it take you? I guess after the list was sent out, when did you start getting calls, and how many calls did you got until you got to this one seller?
Okay. So September, I got the list. So I sent out postcards immediately, and the way I was sending out my postcards, basically that list was only 500. So I was mailing out that list twice a month. So I mailed them out in September, I mailed them out in October, and I mailed them out in November. So roughly that particular seller got 4, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 different postcards from me before he decided to call. I was getting other calls from other sellers. So I would say roughly I was getting about 2 calls a week after I sent out the first initial postcards.
Gotcha. So you're getting a roughly from a list of 500. All right. So you're sending out 500 of these postcards every month, right, Curtis?
Every other week. So basically I sent out 1,000. I mailed out to the list twice a month.
Gotcha.
So I'm sending out 1,000 postcards a month.
Wow. Okay. 1,000 postcards a month, and you're getting about 2 calls a week.
Yeah, I was getting about 2 calls a week. I got 2 calls a week up until this seller called me that actually closed the deal.
Oh, dang. So, see, the thing is, you guys, I want to break down that so you guys understand that I guess in your market, Curtis, is pretty competitive.
Yes, it's pretty competitive. It's pretty competitive, so that's why I went with just mailing. I mean, I stuck. See, what I was doing was, because that's not my first list that I pulled from List Source. Once I pull a list from List Source, I mailed to that list for about 3 months, right before I move on to another list. So, like I said, he got 5 of my postcards before he actually called.
Nice, man. Gotcha. Dude, see, you guys, it's all about being consistent and persistent. Just keep doing it, send it out. Even though even though Curtis is getting 2 calls a week, see, when he tells me that, I just know that the market's competitive, which means these property owner are getting a tons of these already. So that's why your ratio is just it's just so low like that. But when they call, it's all about being able to get on the phone and convert that leads. So 2 calls a week. So okay, so you got this call. So now the property, is it vacant? Is it or is it rented?
No, it's tenants. It's occupied. Tenants are in it, so it's cash flowing. It's 2 tenants, 2 separate tenants in it.
Gotcha. So I guess the owner. So the owner.
Before we move forward, let me add this in.
Sure.
That I went out to get my LLC. I went out to get my phone number. And basically, when I mailed out the postcards, people were calling back my company because I had my LLC name on there and my phone number. So I kind of took your advice in one of your shows where when the seller called me, I just told them that I was a rep for the company and my job is acquisition. So I'm the one that actually acquires the property. I'm not the one that's going to be necessarily buying it. So I let them know that up front. So anything I had to do, moving on or maneuvering with the property was fine with the seller because he already knew.
Love it, man. Love it, bro. Smart, dude. So rental. So what are you getting in rent?
So rent. The top floor apartment was getting about, I think, $750. And the bottom floor apartment was getting about $850.
Okay, $750 up top, $850 on the bottom. Now, so the seller was the seller in the same states, or is he out of states?
No, he was in the same state. He just lived in a different town.
Sure. Okay.
He lived about 25 minutes away.
Gotcha. Okay. And what is the reason why the seller is selling it?
Well, the seller, I think the seller was like tired of being a landlord, and once we spoke, he said he had other ambitions and possibly relocating to another state, maybe Florida. He said something about relocating to Florida and opening up an ice cream shop. So I guess he was just tired. He was tired of the whole landlord thing. But with my marketing, I opened up that possibility to him because, like I said, when he first called, he just wanted to get numbers. He didn't know that he really wanted to sell until I actually got down there and told him the process. So, like I said, he probably cooked all of this stuff up in his head while we was going back and forth talking. So, just to let everybody know, you really got to sell. You got to sell yourself. You got to market to them. And every lead is a lead because you never know what they're thinking or what they're going to call you back and say. You just never know. Just because they don't sound motivated when they call you, the first step was he called. That's the first step. And that's all you need most of the time. That's all you need.
Go ahead, man.
So, so where you want me to start at?
No.
Where you want me to continue?
Yeah. So the thing is, you guys, I want to point something else. And for those of you who don't know already, I do have a stutter problem. It comes and it goes. Sometimes it takes me like to spit out the word. So I want you guys to understand that. Sometimes it's like it put me in a really awkward positions or moment. So what Curtis just said here, I want you guys to really, really, really realize this. And please Curtis just said that when the seller calls in, like this guy here doesn't even sound motivated. He's just trying to get some number. Your job on that call, like I'm telling you, talking to seller is just so important. If you do not know how to handle the call or talk to these sellers, you're basically throwing away your money. All right, because all you're waiting for is you're waiting for to get lucky. Is in this market, the market is so competitive that if you don't know how to handle that calls and engage the engage the phone conversation with them, dig in and dive in and figure out their motivation and all of that, and being able to sell to them why they should go with you, it's really hard for you to actually convert the leads into actual deals. You're waiting to get lucky to land this seller that is just extremely motivated. And I'm saying that in this market is so competitive. If that's what you're shooting for, then man, you're going to spend a lot of money marketing and wasting a lot of money and a lot of your time. You need to know how to sell yourself and convert these leads. Like Curtis said, like this seller calls in, he's just looking for numbers, but he's able to convert him into an actual deals. You guys, very, very important, man. Very, very extremely important. And that's what happened to me when I first started. I didn't know how to talk to the seller. So I spent 6 months marketing, wasting my money, and was waiting to get lucky. That's pretty much what I was. So now Curtis, it's rent $750, $850. So what do you figure the ARV would be for this property?
The ARV for that property was around 120.
Okay.
Because that's what I learned. That's what I learned, that you got to do it for whatever. It doesn't matter that it's a duplex. You just got to do it for what the properties are going for in that area. So the ARV I came up with was 120.
Okay. Now.
So go ahead.
Okay, so ARV was 120, and what do you figure the rehab would be?
My contractor came up with about between 10 and 15,000 for repairs. It just needed to be freshened up. Like, it was a couple walls that need to be repaired. All the electrical was good. The roof was just recently replaced. So it was just like minor stuff, like maybe like kitchen appliance upgrade, bathroom upgrade, walls paint, things like that. So we came up with about, I would say probably about 10,000 in repairs.
Gotcha, man. So so based on that repairs, I'm just thinking that it's probably a rental repair, right? Like whoever's going to come in, just do a quick cosmetic and keep it as a rental, right?
Keep it as a rental, because that's the thing. I guess we'll get to that later. I want to go through how I met up with the buyers. Sure. And how I'm going to get to that. But I had to market to a buyer that was looking for something with tenants already in it, because it was tenants already in there. So basically whoever was going to get it was just going to bring it up to spec for rental, basically.
Gotcha, man. So Curtis, so when the seller calls into you, what was he asking for the property?
He was actually, the seller was actually looking for around 95 grand for the property. So that's when I got off the phone with him, and I waited like a day to call him back. And I told him, I didn't say ARV, but I told him what the properties were going. I said, based on what the properties are going for in this area, and based on what we would have to do to the property, I can't offer you 95 grand. It sounds like, you might want to sell that retail with a realtor. And he said, no. He said, after talking to you, I'm just looking to cash out. So he said, what would be your best cash offer for the property? And at the time, I told him 61,000. And we'll take care of the closing. You're all cash, and you're done with the property. So that's when he came back with 64,000, right? And I accepted 64. So we sold it. Well, I got him under contract for 64,000.
Okay. So now, Curtis, you mentioned a contractor. How do you connect with this contractor?
Well, you can go on Home Advisor, Angie's List. It's a lot of contractors that give free estimates. I mean, you don't have to tell them everything you're doing right up front, but you can get them out to do the estimate. But in order to build a good relationship, I just slipped the guy $50 and told him I might need him in the future. And I said, just give me, I just told him, if you were purchasing this house, what will you fix? What's the first thing you will fix? What's the first thing you will pay attention to? And he told me. And I just said, give me a dollar amount of how much it would cost to fix all of that stuff. And he told me. And he looks at every house that I look at now, just because I built a relationship with him.
Love it. Love it, man. Okay. So, man, I'm going to dive in a little bit more here. So the seller, the first phone call you have with the seller, Curtis, seller said he wants 95 for the property. Now, did you make him an offer of 61,000 on the first call or on the second call?
When he said he wanted 95, I told him I had to check my numbers and I would give him a call back.
Okay.
So when I called him back, I remember on one of your shows one time that you mentioned that the number has to be so low that you got to be scared to say it. So I was scared to say it, but I said, I got to offer this guy 61 or it's not going to be a deal. So I braced myself and I was like, sir, just based on what the properties are going for and what we have to do to your property, I can only offer you 61,000. He said, 60 what? I said, 61,000. He said, okay, all right, I got your number. Let me call you back. And he called me back the next day and said, can we do 64? And I said, yes.
Gotcha.
We can do 64.
Gotcha, man. Curtis, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good, man. So some of you guys, let me tell you something, okay? So maybe this will help you. This will help you with your mindset a little bit, because I had this problem too when I first started. Is making that low offer, especially when they ask for so high, and you're like maybe like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 apart, and you're afraid to make that offer. You're afraid to upset the seller. You're afraid they're going to hang up on you, and you're afraid that you can't get the deal done because you're so worried about trying to get the deal done, and you're just so worried about them getting mad and hung up the phone on you that you're afraid to make that low offer. But I want you guys to reposition your mind, thinking, you guys, before you make it, just think that you're just an employee. Your job is, hey, here's the offer. Make the offer. And if the number, just like Curtis said, if the numbers, for him to make this work, I mean, that's where he got to be in price, So for him to get this deal done, he got to throw out the numbers, right? So you guys got to understand that when you make this offer, just think as you're just an employee or a partner, and your partner brings you this offer and tell you to present it. Let me ask you something. If you work for a company and that your boss said, hey, I want you to present this offer, what are you going to do? You're just going to get on the phone and you're just going to have to present the offer, right? And if the seller accepts it, great. If the seller gets mad at you, well, you know what? Then if you were to go higher on your offer, there wouldn't be a deal anyway.
Yeah.
So
be a deal. You wouldn't find a buyer.
Yeah, agree, man. So you guys just make that offer, reposition your mindset. It's like your job is just to present it. All right. So present that offer, and if and now Curtis. So now you present the offer of 61,000 on the second phone call. The seller came back and said 64.
He came back and said 64, and I that's when I had the paper right in front of me. So I said I can work with 64, so I accepted.
Okay. So you accept the 64. Now at this time here, Curtis, have you been out to the property?
Yeah, by this time I've been to the property twice.
Okay.
So I've done 2 visits to the property. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So you actually visit the property already.
Yeah, twice. Because when I found out how serious he was, it's kind of like I took the contractor back out to get like really, really hard numbers.
Gotcha.
Like at first it was just a preliminary number, and then second I took the contractor back to get kind of like hard numbers. So by this time I've seen the property twice.
Gotcha. So Curtis, I just want to make sure I understand you correctly here. So on the first phone call, the seller calls in, one at 95. And then at that time you say, hey, you didn't make the offer. So at that time, after that phone call, did you schedule a time to go out and view the property with him then?
Well, actually on the first phone call, he asked for numbers. I told him I couldn't do numbers without seeing the property. So I scheduled a viewing of the property. And when I scheduled a viewing of the property, I went out to see the property with the contractor that I hired. And we did a preliminary repair estimate. And that's when I asked him how much he was looking for. And when he told me how much he was looking for, I went out to the property again. Do like a real hard estimate to make sure we ain't missed nothing. So once we went out for the second time and I came back, and that's when I came back with the 61 after viewing the property twice.
Gotcha, man. So
and the only reason, I don't mean to cut you off. The only reason I did that is because the property has tenants. So sometimes when the property has tenants, you have to be quick. So that first time, the tenants were home. So we kind of had to do an overbrush of the property really, really quick. And once I found out he was serious, that's when I said we got to go back because it might have been some stuff we missed because we were trying to go through the property quickly because the tenants were there.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't want to alert the tenants of what was going on at the moment. So that's why I had to go back twice.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. So now, Curtis, you said that you got the contractor from homeadvisor.com?
Yes.
Okay. And could you explain to those that don't know what Home Advisor is and what they do?
It's just kind of like a website in your area where it shows like local businesses in your area, whether you're looking for contractors, plumbers, mechanics, anybody you're looking for, their business will be posted on there. And sometimes when you go to their ad, there's a free estimate. So this was a smaller company I called that gave free estimates. So they sent the guy. I didn't tell him everything that was going on. I just told him I was looking at a house. I needed a repair estimate. They came out for the free estimate, but I wound up paying the guy anyway because I wanted to bring him on for the future.
Smart, man. Smart. So basically, you guys, so that's homeadvisor.com. For those of you who are like, well, Khang, I don't know, I don't have any construction background. How do I get in contact with a contractor to give me a price? There it is, homeadvisor.com. What they do is just like Curtis said, you connect with them where they get, where they came out and they do give you free estimate. But obviously, you don't want to take advantage of that and call the same person out on every single property. And just like what Curtis did, and I respect that. Make sure that you get them taken care of because that's how you build the relationship with them. So now,
and they'll take you serious. They'll take you serious.
And the thing is, Curtis, so what do you tell this contractor? Because you guys don't want to tell them that you're wholesaling the properties. So what do you tell them, Curtis?
No. I told him, I kind of told him what, because I got company shirts printed up for the company and everything. So when we get there, I say, hey, I'm an acquisitions manager for my company. My company is looking to acquire this property, but we got to find out what needs to be done to the property. So we just trying to bring it up to spec, nothing fancy, no granite counters or anything like that. Just let me know what you would do immediately to fix this property if we acquired it. And he said, okay. He pulled out his notepad, he pulled out his tape measure, and just went through the property. Told me everything. Told me how much things would cost. At this point, he knew that I possibly wasn't going to get any work. I wasn't going to hire them to do the work. So that's when I gave him, a little bit of money for his time. And
awesome.
like I said, the same company, not even the same company, but the same guy comes out to look at all my properties to this day. All I got to do is call him and text him, give him 2-day notice. I didn't got so comfortable with him. I can send him out there with the seller even when I can't be there, and he'll bring me back pictures and everything.
Love it, man. So now, Curtis, walk us through. So how long did you tie this property up on the contract for?
Okay, so I make the contract for 45 days.
Okay.
And like I said, I got the seller under contract for $64,000.
Okay.
So basically, I scanned I mean, just to get technical, I scanned the contract. I let him know that if he agrees to my offer, I got a contract for you to sign. It's a simple one-page contract, whatever. So I scanned the contract. I signed my portion, email it over to him so he can sign his portion, and he emails it back. And
Okay.
that's my, that's certified under contract, basically.
Gotcha. Okay. And earnest money.
Earnest money, I wrote down 500.
$500.
Yeah, I wrote down 500 bucks.
Now, did the seller ask you anything about earnest money?
Nope. Never said anything about it. I mean,
It could have been $10.
It could have been $10. I just put 500 on the contract to make it look decent.
Sure. I
Yeah.
understand, man. Gotcha. Okay. Now walk us through the buyer, bro.
Okay. So, man, I got to market this property. It has tenants in it, but it's cash flowing. It needs work, but he's collecting rent every month. So the first thing I did was I'm a member of various Facebook groups. They have like Facebook groups that's specific to my area. So I put the property in the Facebook group that's specific to my area first, and then I put it on other groups that I was members of. And I got a lot of hits for the property. Now what? All right, let me get more technical. So I got the property under contract for 64. Now to give some room for the buyer and me, my fee, I advertised it for 71,000 or best offer. Right? I knew what I was going to take in my head, but just in case I got a buyer that was kind of pushy or can I get it for such and such, I advertised it for 71,000 or best offer. So I posted it on a Facebook group, and I was getting a lot of hits, a lot of emails for it. And man, it's like every time something like that happens, I think it's like you're in the back of my head saying this is a good deal because a lot of buyers are biting. So that's how because I've had properties under contract in the past and no buyers were biting. So that's how I figured that I didn't have a good deal. But this time I had a lot of buyers biting, right? So 5 buyers that bid at the same time, they were interested in seeing the property. So I had to get back to the seller to try to get the buyers in there to show the property, which is very difficult. Very, very difficult. So I kind of weeded the buyers out and I got down to 2 buyers. So I set up a showing through the seller, and I just told the seller that we need to get in there for another inspection, like a inspection to finalize things. So I'm gonna have a couple of my colleagues with me at this time. I said I'm gonna have one rep from my company, and the other rep might not necessarily be from my company, but they're gonna help out with the inspection. So we all met on the Saturday, and I let the buyers run through the property while I sat at the bottom of the property talking to the seller. They seen what they needed to see. But just to back up a little bit, when I make sure I arrived there first. So when everyone got there, I said, hey, I'm a wholesaler and I'm wholesaling this property. So any number talks, just hold it to the end. Don't mention any numbers to the seller. Let me handle everything. They said, okay, we just want to see the property, see if it's up to our liking. So they just ran through the property, did their inspection, and both of them said, we'll call you. And one of them actually called back with an offer.
Gotcha, man.
So so we got down to, at first they offered, what did they offer at first? First they offered around 66, right? And I didn't bite. The buyer offered 66. I didn't bite at first because I said, just from the amount of buyers that contacted me, I know I probably can get more. And they said, what's the absolute number that you would settle on? And I'm thinking, my first deal, I'm trying to make this fee. I don't know how I came up with it, but it just fell out the sky. And I said, I can do it for 67.4. I don't know how I came up with that figure. And they said, okay, deal. So the buyer agreed to buy it at 67.4. I mean, I'm sorry. It's not 60. Yeah, no, 67.7.
67.7?
Hold on.
Hold on, man. So you got under contract for 64, right?
Yeah.
Plus 3,400. Yeah, so
Oh, I'm sorry.
67.4.
67.6. 67.6 is what we agreed on.
Gotcha. Okay.
67,600 is what we agreed on.
So Curtis, you actually sent 2 buyers in there at the same time, and you were there to facilitate the showing?
Yes.
Okay.
And I briefed the seller, but I already had the seller briefed because I told the seller I work for a company. So it's going to be reps from the company that I told him that, my approval is not the final approval. So I have to get this approved. So it might be colleagues or other members from my company that have to come in to view the property. So I had 2 sellers in there at the same time. I made 2 buyers in there at the same time with the seller and 2 tenants.
Okay. Gotcha.
It was awkward. It was awkward.
Was it?
It was awkward. Yes, it was awkward. It was awkward.
Gotcha, man. So the 2 buyers came, the 2 buyer walked through and got done with it, and one of them called you back and make you an offer, and then you guys went back and forth and then agreed on the price of 67.4, right?
67.6. Yeah, 67.6.
Okay, 67.6. And how much of a non-refundable deposit do you had him put down?
$1,000.
$1,000, and
yeah, $1,000.
How soon was the closing?
All right, now just to kind of back up a little bit, in my while I was like navigating and trying to find out things and learned out information, I had built a relationship with a title company already before this deal even came into fruition. Because just from reaching out to people, asking questions, so I already had a relationship with a title company, and they explained to me that whenever I find a deal, whenever I get a seller under contract, that once I find a buyer, then I can submit everything to them for them to start the title process. So by me already having a relationship with the title company, I just called them and kept them updated of what's going on. So as soon as I got the buy, I sent out my assignment contract to the buyer. As soon as the buyer signed, I immediately called the title company and got the wiring instructions for the title company so the buyer can wire their EMD right in. And once they wired it right in, they started the title process for closing. Closing was, let me see. Closing was like 11 days later.
Okay. And how long did it took you to find this buyer?
It took me about two weeks to find a buyer. Nice. And that was from Facebook.
Okay. Do you know what Facebook group that is?
We have Baltimore real estate investors. We have Cash Buyers Connection. I can't tell you which one they came from.
Sure, man.
I just know they came from Facebook.
Awesome. So Benjamin, I want to say, bro, congrats, dude. You kind of gave us pretty much, you guys, that's a lot of details there, right? That's a lot of details. That's a lot of information. Benjamin have drops. I want to make sure that hopefully that you guys will be able to grab some of these nuggets, go implement, apply it, use it. So that way, obviously, so you can go out there and create your own success. Now, Benjamin, how do people connect with you, bro?
Oh, it's Curtis.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm so sorry, man. Curtis. Yeah, man. How do people connect?
Well, my Instagram is Big Time Properties, and my Facebook is Big Time Properties. So any questions, anybody want a JV or anybody want to work together on some stuff, I'm open.
Awesome. And once again, to you guys, Curtis is out of Baltimore, Maryland. I'll make sure I'll drop all of his contact information. You guys can hit him on IG. I'll make sure I drop it in the description so you guys can follow him, connect, JV, do deals. And that's why I like to do these kind of interview. because I want you guys to understand that the bigger our family grow, what it is I bring on subscribe first wholesale deal like this, or people have been, after their first deal, they've gone on to do multiple deals. Basically, it's easy, so that way you guys connect with each other, and hopefully, that there will be someone that's on the interview that's in the same area that you're doing. It's nice to reach out. They'll show, they'll share some tips and information with you and things like that. All right. So, Curtis, last word of motivation, inspirations, or some tips that you want to share with those that are trying to get their first deal done, bro.
Don't give up. Even when it looks dark, don't give up. I mean, like I said, I sent out, you might as well say, I sent out about 3,000 postcards before I got my first deal, but I made over $3,000. So, I got $1 back for every postcard I ever sent out up to this point. So that should motivate anybody.
Yeah.
And I only spent about 25 cents, or like 30 cents for each postcard I sent out. And I made $1 back for each one. So that should motivate anybody. Don't give up.
Love it, man. Love it. So so Curtis, so quickly, man. So what's your goal for 2019 and
2019, I plan on getting into some virtual wholesaling, and just keep doing the same thing I've been doing. I came to find out that the seller that I worked with initially got another property that he wasn't going to sell at first, that he wants to sell. So I had that under contract now.
Oh, dang, bro. So you already working on your second deal?
Yes, I'm already working on my second deal.
Love it, man. So do you ever think that once wholesaling takes over, making more than your truck thing, are you going to quit the truck thing or what?
Probably won't quit it, but I'll hire somebody to put into my day-to-day activities so I can focus full time on wholesaling.
No, is that kind of what you want to do? Wholesaling full time?
Yeah, that's my plan.
Turn your 10-year business into a part-time? Part-time?
Turn it into part-time. Yeah, I'll hire a manager to oversee it and hire a worker to take my place. And then I can wholesale, do whatever I need to do full time.
Nice, man. Nice. So, Curtis, hey, if you don't mind me ask, dude, like how many employees do you have right now on your truck thing?
2. I have two employees.
Okay.
Besides myself.
Cool, man. That's it, you guys. That's a wrap. Curtis, I want to say thank you so much, bro, for taking your time to jump on and do this, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you for all your words and all your inspiration, because I couldn't do it without referencing back to all your videos, just like key points, key nuggets, just establishing a relationship with the seller, asking the seller how their day going, do they have any plans for the weekend. That goes a long way. Trust me, it goes a long way.
Awesome, man.
Long way.
Awesome. So you guys, thank you so much. For those of you who are new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button. If you haven't, follow me on Instagram. Hit me up on IG. Hit Kurt up on Instagram. It's Khang, Khang like a period, WTM. And if you do enjoy this, man, because Curtis has dropped a lot of nuggets for you. So if you do enjoy this, show him some love. Smash that thumbs up for me. And remember, once you subscribe to the family, we're going to take this family in by the end of 2019. Curtis, you think we can do it, dude? Hit 100,000 subscribers?
I know we can do it. We can do it. We can do it.
Love it. Love it, man. And also, too, you guys, remember, turn on that bell notification so when I upload a new video or I go live, you guys will get notified. If you recently, once again, close your first wholesale deal done, email me at wholesale2millions with an S, wholesale2millions@gmail.com, and let's get you on. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Curtis, thank you, bro.
All right, thank you.